The First Space War, October 12th, 2198. Somewhere in interplanetary space between Mars and the asteroid belt. In the immediate aftermath of an attack on Springfield Station, an independent habitat station in the asteroid belt, a large evacuation vessel, the Preservation, and its escort, the Draconis, are being chased by 3 enemy ships, 2 missile cruisers and a corvette, while the rest of their assault fleet remains behind to continue plundering the station. Despite burning towards Mars for several hours now, the pursuing battle group is eventually able to catch up and intercept the pair of fleeing vessels. The Draconis crew, all wearing their standard issue MTF vacuum suits, are strapped in and pressed deep into their seats, crushed under the stress of high G-forces, but alert and ready for action. Red combat lighting illuminates the ship's interior, though there is not a single sound as the atmosphere has been returned to the supply tank in preparation for this engagement. Raise the Preservation. Captain Jackie Vera orders over the comm. On screen, Captain. XO Kyle Lang replies as he quickly presses a series of buttons. A moment later, a highly stressed and somewhat panicked middle-aged man, Commander Han Kuroshi of the Preservation, appears on Jackie's terminal. Preservation here. Han, just maintain your 8G burn. I know it's hell on everyone, but we're about to engage, so don't do anything stupid. Good hunting, Captain. We're all counting on you, Han says as he strains to look at the camera. She forces a faint smile as she cuts the connection and returns her focus on the 3 incoming hostile targets. Captain, they're entering missile range. If we're gonna do something, we gotta do it now. Andrew Burke announces from the main pilot seat. Time to earn your pay, people. Let's show them who they're dealing with, weapons free. Jackie orders with unshakable resolve. Andrew looks over and locks eyes with his co-pilot Nick Pike for a moment before both simultaneously refocus on their posts. Everybody brace for combat maneuvers. Weapons, I'm sending firing patterns, let's fuck 'em up. Andrew calls out before inputting commands. Got it, missiles away. Sarah Green replies in almost the same instant. The Draconis fires 8 missiles at the pair of cruisers a moment before cutting thrust, flipping 360 degrees and firing the forward-facing railgun at the pursuing corvette and resuming thrust after finishing the flip maneuver. Woohoo-ho! Engineer Holly Faye cheers through the open comms during the flip. The missiles are easily taken out by the 20mm point defense cannons on the cruisers, but the corvette's weak shield is unable to stop the railgun round as it embeds itself halfway through the ship, killing much of the crew and forcing it out of the fight. Holy shit, that actually worked, Kyle remarks. Corvette's down and out, but the cruisers are still coming. The cruisers each fire a volley of 8 missiles, one at the Draconis and the other at the Preservation, before splitting apart to approach the fleeing pair from multiple angles. PDCs now. Jackie shouts. On it, Captain. Gary Shaw calmly responds. The Draconis laser PDCs deploy from their hard points across the hull before easily shooting down the first volley, while firing 2 more missiles to detonate between the Preservation and the second volley, acting as a flak screen that stops the first 4 of the incoming missiles. The laser PDCs retarget the remaining missiles, but 2 still manage to strike the Preservation's shield, dropping it by 20%. Shit, Gary says quietly. It's okay, their shield can handle that no problem. Sarah says, reassuring him. Both cruisers fire another 8 missile volley at both targets. More incoming, Nick calls out. We see them, Sarah replies. Hold tight, everybody, Andrew announces as the Draconis cuts thrust, flips 120 degrees, and resumes thrust to bring the ship on an intercept course with the cruiser that fired on the Preservation. It fires 2 consecutive 6 missile volleys, the first to screen the incoming volley, while the second volley retaliates against the cruiser that fired at them, all while laser PDCs protect the unarmed evacuation vessel from its own incoming volley. Not this time, assholes, Gary says with a smirk. The missile screen is staggered this time to successfully stop all 8 incoming missiles, and the second volley begins an evasive spiral maneuver to spread out the cruiser's 20mm PDC fire, 3 of which manage to avoid being shot down and strike the cruiser's shield, dropping it by 85%. As the missiles do their thing against the first cruiser, the Draconis burns hard toward the second. Upon closing the distance, both ships exchange PDC fire, but the Draconis then fires its arc projector at the cruiser, launching numerous bolts of lightning that arc out and strike the enemy's shield, disabling it and exposing its hull to point-blank PDC strikes. As its laser PDCs damage several maneuvering thrusters, missile tubes, and 20mm PDCs, the escort performs a second flip and fire maneuver with its railgun at the first cruiser. "Bye-bye, bitch," Sarah shouts as she fires the railgun. The first cruiser attempts to evade as the Draconis begins its flip maneuver, but the large ship is unable to avoid the railgun strike. The round punches through the remaining shield and penetrates the reactor. The ship's computer nearly instantaneously detects the breach and drops the core before anyone on board even has time to react, rendering the ship immobilized as the reactor detonates into a mini-star for a brief moment behind them. "Whoa, Dash, shut the hell up, Holly." David Jenkins, another engineer, scolds Holly's excitement. Meanwhile, the Draconis, now behind the second cruiser, fires 2 missiles at its exposed and damaged hull. They detonate on impact and destroy the cruiser. Double kill. Call cheers. Hell yeah. Both pilots and both gunners all shout simultaneously. However, the corvette's surviving crew has rejoined the fight. With its shield recharged and the breaches sealed, the corvette burns hard toward the Draconis, firing its 6 20mm PDCs and a pair of 120mm turrets at its target. As the corvette speeds past the crippled first cruiser, it is joined by a final 8-missile volley that the cruiser had reloaded before dropping the reactor core. "Shit, corvette's back," Kyle says, and that cruiser had some last words. "Take them out before Dash," Jackie shouts as the incoming 20mm and 120mm rounds impact the Draconis shield, draining it rapidly with each strike. It burns to evade as it fires another pair of 6 missile volleys. The first volley targets the incoming corvette while laser PDCs fire at the incoming missiles. The second volley spirals around the corvette and toward the crippled vessel, which strikes unchallenged by the unpowered 20mm PDCs and destroys the cruiser. "Now stay dead," Sarah says. The corvette's 20mm PDCs are able to shoot down the incoming volley, and now they have closed the distance to the Draconis. The 120mm turrets manage to break their shield in time to deploy a pair of harpoon grapples at the escort's hull, one of which is safely deflected away while the second pierces the armor and grabs hold of the vessel. "Fuck, hang on, everyone," Jackie warns as the corvette continues firing its 20mm PDCs at the Draconis, while it proceeds to burn hard and flip 170 degrees, attempting to disorient the Draconis crew with a sudden and intense high G-turn. The shock of the ship flipping out from under the crew and being dragged by the corvette caused numerous severe injuries and a few fatalities, and 20mm rounds penetrate the Draconis hull and whiz through multiple points across the ship, killing several additional crew unlucky enough to be in their paths. "Report Dash," Jackie painfully shouts before looking over and spotting Kyle's lifeless body. "Oh fuck." "Sarah here, I'm alright. IKRRRGG, I'll be fine." Nick struggles to say, while holding the new hole in his lower abdomen with his left hand. He notices and actively ignores the splatter of blood on the inside of his visor. "Oh shit. David and Bruce are dead," Holly shouts from down the ladder. "Fuck, and it looks like we've got hull breaches pretty much everywhere. They have us tethered, I can see it through the PDC cams," Sarah announces. "This fight isn't over, people. Free my ship and destroy those bastards," Jackie orders while making a mental note that the ship's medic, Alexis Shaw, as well as her younger brother Gary Shaw and the main pilot Andrew Brick, didn't check in, just like engineers David Jenkins and Bruce Morrow, which means most of her crew just died. "Yes, Captain," Sarah says as she manually aims and fires the laser PDCs at the harpoon line, breaking it and restoring their control. The Draconis then fires its remaining 4 missiles and laser PDCs at the corvette while attempting to reorient and fire its railgun, but it's rather slow due to maneuvering thrusters being damaged by the last attack. Sarah screams as hard as she can. Meanwhile, the corvette quickly reorients and resumes firing its 120mm turrets at the Draconis, while its 20mm PDCs focus on the missiles, though the last one detonates close enough to break their shield. Jackie quickly checks the status of the preservation and lets out a small sigh of relief as she sees it speeding far away from the combat. The Draconis manages to fire its railgun, but is simultaneously struck with several 120mm rounds which punch massive holes through multiple sections of its unshielded hull, detonating explosions and sending shrapnel flying, killing the remainder of the Draconis crew and destroying the vessel. In the same instance, the railgun round punches through the corvette, shattering the small vessel to pieces with its power. The Draconis and her crew may have died fighting, but they defeated all three attackers and allowed the preservation to escape to Mars, where the refugees receive the required aid, and a response to the extremist threat is organized.